Welcome back, everybody. Today we're going to be talking about everybody's favorite topic in the world, and that, of course, is caulk. So go ahead and grab yours. Let's get going, because we're going to caulk this roof today. Okay, so before we really get started here, let's cover some really basics here about caulk. There's three things that are really kind of important to it. And the first one is it indoor outdoor rated? If it's indoor rated, it's not going to last long, and it's just going to crack and fall apart and be nasty, and you're going to waste your time. Number two, is it mold resistant? It needs to be mold resistant because it's going to be out in the elements. Okay, and the third one, is it fresh? Okay, we are all products of the 80s and 90s. Okay, we all have the same cookie cutter dad. Okay, they were cheap. Don't be your dad, don't be cheap. Go spend $8 on a new tube of caulk and do it right the first time, okay? If you really need something to kind of remember that by, caulk is a lot like your wife. If you go cheap on it, it's gonna bite you in the ass eventually. Don't be cheap, okay? Go get a new tube. It's $8. If you can't afford $8 and you have a travel trailer, you got bigger problems, my friend, okay? New tube. I can't stress that enough, okay? All right, so there's a trick that I was taught by the RV repairman that's coming out to do the suspension. He was super helpful, and he taught me a couple little tricks. And one of them is the caulking. He says you put down your clear silicone first, a nice healthy bead. Then you spray it with Windex, and then you spray your fingers with Windex, and then you wipe it down, and it'll give you the cleanest edge you've ever seen in your life. He showed me it, and it worked amazing. So we'll see how it works for me, because I'm going to try it for the first time. I'm pretty decent with caulking, but it's always just such a pain in the butt. And the idea of having to do the whole trailer here was kind of daunting, because, you know, it's both sides, and I have to do the whole run, all 43 feet of it. So stick with me. We'll see how this goes, because this is all new to me. That is absolutely the cleanest bead of caulking I have ever done in my life. So I might not do that trick. I'll save that for the windows, is where he originally said to do that trick at. I was going to do it up here, but if I keep laying stuff like that, I won't need to. So yeah, we'll stick with me and we'll see how this goes. Okay, so this is actually the spot where I'm having the problem up here. What's going on is the AC is running a lot because it's hot, and we're getting the condensation drip from the AC running down the roof, and it's running down into the gutter system we have. Now it's getting behind the gutter system. So if you look down here, you can actually see the line here as it's water staining the roof. And it's running down, and it comes down. I don't know if you guys are going to actually be able to see that or not. Bear with me. It gets behind the gutters here, in between the flashing, and it will eventually rot out part of the camper. And in fact, it's traveling all the way down behind this and actually starting to do some damage to the siding of the trailer. We have a little bit of delamination going on, and it comes down right where our state stickers are. The water, we're trying to keep the water from getting behind the gutter here. So I'm putting the caulking in here, and it's going to allow the water to roll off of the roof, over the caulking, and into the gutter, and actually let the gutter do its job. And actually, if you look here, you can see where the real bad infiltration is right here. It's a two-piece gutter system, and they just caulk right over it, and they really hope for the best, knowing it's not really their problem. So this is going to be the key spot right here. So I'll show you that again once I get it caulked, so you can see. But the water is actually traveling down this seam here. It's traveling down this seam, and then getting in behind here. That's the problem there. So I'm gonna hit that one really good. Now, also keep in mind, these roofs are really slippery and really fragile. You can cut them and damage them really easily. I just treated ours recently, so it's a little extra slick right now. So if you see me moving around like a scared little cat, actually, cat wouldn't be scared, would it now? If you see me moving around up here like I'm scared, it's because I am a little bit. It's slippery, and I've lost tools off this already, and I've almost fallen off once. So if you're up here doing your own, be careful. Don't fall off. It's gonna ruin your whole day. So I think this is actually gonna be a really good chance to try out the Windex trick that the guy taught me, because I want to get this extra good. So I'm going to add a little extra right in here. Now I know this is going to be really silly looking, but he showed me this and it worked, so bear with me. It works. I might need to rush and do the whole rest of the trailer before it dries all the way, because that worked stupid well. Okay, unfortunately the rest of the trailer is already pretty much dry. Let me show you guys what this trick did. Is that there is a little bit of an area here that did not get put in, it did not get installed correctly, and they just kind of said, too bad, so sad, moved on. The caulking that I put in here, this is where I used that trick, that the Windex that the guy showed me. And you could see that is a very, very clean bead of caulk right there. I am very impressed. And honestly, why isn't this shown from day one? Okay, see what I mean? Everything's trying to fall off this roof, including myself. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna spray this again. Like I said, you spray it first, get your fingers nice and juiced up, and then all we're gonna do is we're gonna holy smokes, guys. This is an absolute game changer. I wish I had done the whole roof this way. Through the magic of cinematography, we are now on the other side, and you guys are floating out in space on one of our slides, so you can actually see a little bit better what I'm doing here. Sprayed it. I didn't put enough there, so this is gonna be the really test here, because this is gonna get really ugly. Yeah, see, I wasn't joking. I am not good with my left hand, people. So this is gonna be the test right here. How well does this trick actually work? Because I really messed this one up. All right, so we're gonna start back here. So it is actually doing pretty well. The key is definitely have enough caulking down. This is definitely be a very liberal thing on this. Really get some caulk on there so that you have enough to push around. I don't even know where I want to start now. This is turning into a botch job for sure on this side. The other side was very pretty. What I might do is I might need to start on the back and work my way forward so I can actually use my dominant hand here. That'd be the smart thing to do, but what am I gonna do? Because I'm already set up over here, I'm just gonna keep fighting myself on it. Okay, that was a pretty predictable outcome. I I fought myself on it, and ended up moving in the end anyways after having another real bad botch job that I'm not even gonna show you guys. I just noticed during the 4th of July, we parked this in a neighborhood where there were some interesting folks lighting off a ton of fireworks right above our trailer, and there's some little signs of fireworks all over this trailer that I cannot scrub off, but I just noticed the plastic's melted up here a little bit. It's not a hole or anything, but you can see, even with the total botch job I did there, just really messed that one up. That trick cleans it up so nice. It makes it so smooth. I will never do caulking the same again. This is by far the way to go from now on. As I have said many times, these trailers are just thrown together. They have practices that they're supposed to be doing, but they don't always do it because they're just trying to get this thing off the yard there and going. So what the problem is they're supposed to caulk from the very top all the way down to here, because water will still get back here and it'll actually start to make this delaminate. We actually have that. This trailer originally came from Washington State, which is very wet, very full of moisture all the time. And this trailer sat for a couple months in Washington State before we bought it, and then it sat in Washington while we prepared for this trip. And we actually have delamination starting on this back here because that window, they didn't seal it all the way down. They stopped right at the top. And so water is getting off the top and then it's getting behind the window and coming down, and it's actually making the trailer rot on the inside here. And we're just going to try to catch that before it becomes a major problem, before it starts really falling off or before it starts causing health problems for us inside. So that is the goal of what we're doing now. You're going to see me kind of going up there, and I'm going to use the trick that we've just done on the roof where I use the Windex because I really love that trick now. Well, the heat strikes again, and it just absolutely destroyed the battery in the camera here, but you get the point. I'm into this about 16 bucks for the 2 tubes of caulking, 5 bucks for the Windex, and about 2 bucks in the paper towels. So for under 30 bucks, this is a really affordable maintenance to do, and there's no excuse to not do this. This is super simple, and I thought this was going to be a little bit more time consuming, but it really wasn't. It took me a little bit of time just because I'm filming and I had to stop and do the kids' homeschooling, and then Christy and I needed to go run some errands really quick, and then, you know, all the other things that life happens. So it took me almost all day. But for you, I can imagine, depending on how many windows you have and how willing you are just to get up there and get it done, hour, 2. So again, this is something that you should definitely pay attention to and do if you haven't done yet, or get it on your schedule to do it consistently, because you know that no matter what you use, it's going to go away eventually. That caulking is not permanent. It will fail eventually. So just keep an eye on it and do it as you need. Unfortunately, it didn't solve the one part on the side that's dripping. I'm gonna have to give it a little bit more attention, but I will get it eventually. But I feel 100 times better just knowing that I potentially stopped any more damage from happening on the back with the delamination around that back window, and hopefully prevented any future problems on the siding, especially with the one window that I found had no caulking around it whatsoever. So super glad I did this. Take a couple minutes, go look, just see how it's doing, and don't be afraid to do this because it's super simple. So hopefully you learned something, and we'll see you next time.